is going on, everybody? Welcome in to the North End Podcast, episode 97. My name is Zach Graham, your host here in the North End, joined, as always, by my good buddy. He's on record as my best friend. His name is Ian Michaud, and we call him E, a.k.a. Lee James, a.k.a. Sebastian Drew Easy, a.k.a. Eastradamus, a.k.a. Pap E. O'Daniel, a.k.a. The Fashionista, a.k.a. Chili Willy, a.k.a. Joe E. Chestnut, a.k.a. Ian Stonkel. And, if you've been with us episode in and episode out, you know that the E also now stands for eliminated. E sitting here Sunday evening, still awaiting FC2's Western Conference semifinal match here later on tonight, but still feeling the effects, the negativity, the disappointment of Austin FC bowing out of playoff contention last night at the hands of the defending league champions. So I guess outside of that, how are you feeling today, man?
Is there anything else going on outside of that? I guess my fantasy football teams are doing well. We'll take that. You catch me on the you caught me on the hot mic there early?
I don't know. We'll see if I left that in.
Admonishing their roster. Yeah, I'm all right, man. It was a rough game. It was a rough season, and if you are banking on beating LAFC to get into the wild card game, you're probably not going to have a great time. So it was not a great time last night, but outside of that, I think I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
Yeah, I mean, if I can just remove last night's game and, the fact that this team could not make it into the top 9 in the Western Conference, I'm doing just fine.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for us, we're here to talk about that. So let's stop beating around the bush and jump in, because we also had some big news around the club come out a few hours ago here on Sunday afternoon. And again, want to get this first team recap in so we can go watch your favorite team, Austin FC, too. And of course, we'll have the game recap on this episode as well. So again, LAFC, of course, coming to town last night. Injury report was relatively clean. You had Maxi listed as questionable, and of course, John Kolmanich still out with the ACL. But outside of that, everybody else was available for selection. And when the lineup comes out, you've got Seba in there wearing the armband. You've got Brad in net. You've got a back line of Leo and Julio paired at center backs, Johnny G and Nick Lima as the fullbacks, Johan Valencia and Alex Ring in the defensive midfield, and then Emmy and Ethan Finley on the wings. And your boy, Will Bruin, getting a second consecutive start. I know you were pumped up for that, but outside of the Dancing Bear being in the 11, what else did you think about last night's lineup?
Not a whole lot. I thought maybe Owen would get to start again at left back if we were trying to get cute or, try to find something that could change things up for us. But with Nicky back there, I thought you had a really great point earlier that Nicky probably got that rest earlier in the week because he was going to have his hands full, versus this LAFC club. So I wasn't too surprised. Like I said, I would have been shocked if Maxi started. He wasn't even on the team. Will gets the start. It's not like, it's not like you're amped about it. Like, I'm excited to fucking Will Bruin. It's like, I really like the dude, and I do like watching him play. But when you're going against Chiellini and Aaron Long and Palacios, it's definitely not your first choice. So I was fine with the roster, the 11, excuse me. I don't really know what you can do. The Danny situation that continues to, kind of grow a bit more of a legend here. Nobody seems to know what's going on because it can't be rest at this point, And Johan has been quite improved, but Danny might have hit the proverbial wall as well.
I mean, what I was going to say was, I know, you kind of expressed that you had been a little bit discontent with Danny's play over the last month or so, or at least just he wasn't playing up to the bar that you think we have set for him. And I think it's fair. Maybe the coaching staff is kind of in lockstep with you there. And maybe it's just Johan has been playing better, and Alex Ring has certainly been, I think, probably our best midfielder outside of number 10 there. So yeah, and then Danny and Owen off the bench on paper, I think that's like, yeah, hey, we have some real talent that we can bring in there. And Zardes, you would think, and it did end up playing out where he got a little bit more time off the bench here as well. But yeah, man, again, I think it's about given that Johan has been playing so well, and I think it's tough to take him out at this point of the 11. That Zardes wasn't 90 minutes fit, etc. I didn't have any problems with it either. But again, like you said, like starting some of these guys against LAFC, and it's not even, I guess we shouldn't even pick on guys like Will for this, because even if we put out what we think is our best 11 talent wise, we are still losing to LAFC positionally almost at every position. Like almost all 11 players, you would most teams would pick the LA guy over us, I think. Really outside of like who starts from our team on LAFC outside of Seba?
Nobody.
Yeah. I agree.
Not even close to anybody.
Yeah,
like nobody.
Well, I think again, trying to take out the last couple weeks of Danny's performance that we feel is a little bit below average. He's the guy that would be next, right? But he ain't starting over Elie, so
no.
Yeah,
well, that's their club. This is our club, and I don't know what maybe Hedges, just given how bad Julio has been. You try Hedges there. I don't know. Like I said, this is there's only so much. You're just trying to find something that sticks. You're throwing shit at the wall, so it's like, what are you gonna do? So
Well, let's get into this one here. And to be honest, like there's not a ton to talk about. I'm sure we'll still have a lengthy discussion about this game, but shorter notes than normal. And of course, it's easier to take notes on a game like Wednesday where you score 3 and the vibes are good and and you're a little enticed. First minute here, Austin winning a throw near the right corner. This is first possession. Gallagher, who is and this is something we didn't talk about yet. John was on the right and Nick was on the left, and we had just seen Nick Lima come sub in on Wednesday on the left, and noted how that was certainly not the norm. And I could not come up with another example of when Nick Lima has played left back for this team. I still don't really have an explanation for it. I think you were saying in the middle of the game that you think maybe it's an offensive combination with Gallagher and Finley on that right side, and that the coaching staff likes that.
Yeah, I mean, that's like I said, it's probably my best guess. I just think that those two show a good amount of chemistry offensively. They're overlapping runs. They have good timing on their balls to one another. So I think maybe that could be it, to just try to find any sort of offensive juice for this club. But I mean, that's just pure speculation on my part.
Yeah, I mean, and so on this play, John takes that throw from the right side here. Long throw. It skips right over the heads of Will Bruin and Leo Väisänen, and hits the ground. And then on that bounce, Seba is there, and he heads it slightly backwards towards Rigoni, who's got some space, and he tries to half volley it, and he sends it over the bar. But Austin, the aggressors, right out of the gate here. And the first 7-8 minutes was mostly that. When you take in the full game, I think it was more LAFC letting the game kind of come to them and feeling things out, and they were never really threatened here in these first 10 minutes.
No, I thought we were played fine. But again, I do agree that was just LAFC being like, we're not going to lose this game to this club, and we'll feel it out and see what they're trying to do, and then go from there. Because, I mean, it's 4-2 final score, but, handedly controlled by the boys in black and gold.
Yeah, not indicative of how much of an ass whooping this actually was. And you said in the black and gold. Well, they were in their army green last night, is what they call that color. Yeah. I hate that jersey combination. I think I saw somebody say it looked like they were wearing our away kits, like the mint kits.
Yes,
and we were wearing our home. I don't understand why they weren't wearing black. Again, I'm just nitpicking here, but
yeah, I have no idea. Those were disgusting jerseys, and they're worse than our mint kits, and our mint kits aren't that great.
Yeah. Not a fan of the mint kits?
I mean, I like them, but they're not like spectacular.
Right. I get you. 13th minute here. Austin, again, more of the aggressors early on, but here LAFC building up clinically down the left, and Mateusz Bogusz lofts a pass into Denny Bouanga, who splits both of our center backs, and then he lays it off to Tim Tillman, who's near the top of the box. And Tillman's first touch almost gets away from him, and then he kind of just shoots it back across his body and past Stuver on the left side of the goal there. And for their first shot on goal, to go in, it was the first shot on goal for either team, but for their first real attempt and their first real buildup to be a goal, it's about as bad a start as Austin could dream up.
It's a backbreaker for sure. You can't have that happen. The shot was fantastic, a ton of skill there. Great shot by Tillman. Way too easy for Bouanga. You can't let a dude like that just split your two fucking center backs and think you're going to get away with it. We said it. Like, we know, I mean, it doesn't matter that we said it. Everyone fucking knows it. The dumb shit that you did in the last game that you've been doing all season, when you play a club like this, they're going to make you pay. So they did. And it was a great shot. Nothing Brad can do. And start of a long night for Bradley.
So after that opening goal, LAFC seemed quite content to just sit back and it's here in the 28th minute. They've just basically been beating back every advance by Austin here, because that back line that's so damn talented and deep, which last night was Palacios, Chiellini, Long, and Hollingshead from left to right.
Yeah.
Which is crazy in itself. Johan here getting a little impatient with the last 15 minutes and how stagnant Austin had become, or just like the fact that LAFC had been just rebuking, again, every attempt that we had into that box. He just gets a little impatient and launches one from 25 yards out that goes into the third row. And that was just kind of a theme on the night. You look at the shot map for Austin last night. Only 4 of the 10 shots came from inside the box, and half of the 10 shots came from 20 yards or further. So that just shows you, how unthreatening the team was last night.
Yeah, not a recipe for success, and particularly when that hasn't been our game all year. We haven't really been able to get fantastic strikes from outside of the box. But like you said, they were just basically, toying with their food a little bit, and everything we tried to do was just turned away.
Yeah. 35th minute here. LAFC now building down that right side through Tillman here, and he combines twice with Bouanga, and then that second time was a nice little give and go, and Bouanga driving into the box from that right side. Leo comes out to meet him, and Bouanga takes a deft touch towards the middle, and then kind of tries to fool Brad. Little misdirection here, because typically you cut it back onto that left foot. Most guys are looking for that far post, and he tries to be a little cheeky and go near post, and Brad, not fooled there, makes a kick save out that goes for a corner. That corner from Bogusz goes over the entire crowd in the box. LAFC stays in possession. Bouanga runs over to the ball. They feed him, and he takes a touch towards the middle. He's got enough space, and that curling shot goes just wide. But that was it. Bouanga with space anywhere up 25 yards and in. It's just, it makes you clench.
Yep, you got to be on him. You can't give him any sort of airspace, because he can just put those in the back of the net in his sleep, and he almost does here.
3 minutes later, Austin kind of methodically building up through the middle. I won't say the horseshoe of sadness quite yet, but those kind of vibes right here. Though Leo finds Emmy, who was checking back in towards that middle. Emmy one touch lays it off to Alex Ring, who immediately turns and finds Ethan Finley, who made a run that was very nicely timed in behind that back line. And Diego Palacios comes over from his position at left back and just inside that box, makes contact with Ethan Finley. And to the dismay of all the fans in the north end, from our angle, it very much looked like he ran through his back. We went straight to the Apple TV app on our phones to see the replay. And I thought this was a good no call by John Freeman, because on the replay, it is pretty textbook shoulder to shoulder right there. Of course, we want that call, but I thought it was fair.
I thought it was fair after seeing it again. In real time, it looked clearly like he went through his back, but there was enough shoulder to shoulder contact there where I can't be too upset that we didn't get that call. And Similar to that Johan shot, you're going to have to get a little lucky to beat this team. So we could have caught a break there. That would have been fantastic. Got the ball at the spot. But, you can't be banking on that.
42nd minute here, John Gallagher puts in a cross that's headed away by Chiellini. And then Hollingshead is under, and he mishandles it. So Lima ends up with the ball just inside the area, kind of the top left corner. And he pushes the ball out in front towards the end line, which creates a ton of space for the cross. But that cross, with 3 green jerseys in front of net, goes over everybody, and LAFC is headed the other way. And on that possession, Austin does win it back, but then struggling to get it out of the back. And, playing as we do, closer and closer towards our own end line. And Lima ultimately has to boot that out off the ensuing throw-in. Bouanga just dust Johan right here. I don't know if you saw this on the replay, but Johan falls down, man.
Yeah. What a body.
Yeah. And then Austin ends up, Bouanga does lose the ball momentarily, or moments after that. Ethan Finley takes a wayward touch, though, that LAFC picks back up, and the pressure is just immediately back on. Mm-hmm. They swing it over to the left for Oliveira, and he splits the pair of Julio and Finley there on the edge of the box, and he's darting towards that end line left of goal, and Leo comes over to help out, and he comes in and slides, and the ball goes out for a goal kick. There's no call, and Stuver gets up in Oliveira's face, who's on the ground, thinking that there's some simulation there, but VAR calls Freeman over. And we go to our own monitor in 123 as well. And absolutely a penalty, man. Leo was late, did not get any part of the ball. And the correct call was then made after the check.
Yep, they got it right, unfortunately.
So Bouanga steps up. Yeah. Bouanga steps up to the spot. Just a backbreaking second goal here right before the half, because we're into stoppage time by this point. And then on the replay, I noticed it looked like maybe Cherundolo may have been talking to the fourth official on the sideline. He also could have been talking to Josh Wolf. I'm not sure, because this was like right after Brad was yelling at Oliveira on the ground. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if anything was going on there, but
I've told you
the replay.
I think something's up there. There's a scent coming from those two. I don't know.
Smoke.
Yeah, I'm picking up on it.
Yeah. So 2-0 at the half. And we're sitting there talking with our buddy Aaron and Damon and everybody in 123 and saying, all right, 3 goals. That'll do it. Without letting them score again is where we're at now with 45 minutes to go. So coming out of the half, I guess I should say too, because we see one sub here for LAFC. When Bouanga was lining up for that PK, I glanced over and noticed the LAFC subs warming up and just coming right at us at a light jog, Carlos Vela and then Murillo back there too, and all the other young guys they have off that bench. So Murillo comes in for Aaron Long at the half, and then double change for Austin as well. Danny and Jossie come in for Johan and Will Bruin. And man, hindsight is 2020. But I think especially with Danny, if I wonder if they do it over again if Danny starts that match, because Johan did struggle a little bit, as he tends to do with his progressive passing, especially in the offensive half. And there were a couple turnovers there. Again, it doesn't change the outcome of the game, but is Austin able to maybe be a little bit more dangerous if Danny is in there? It's tough to know, but
yeah. I felt like it was probably the right decision to give Johan the call, given how hot he's been as of late. And he, unfortunately, had some of the plays that we've been trying to get out of him, like that should try to not happen, these bad turnovers and stuff. So the early 2 subs, I'm fine with it. Obviously, you got to get Will out of there, getting Gian. And I don't know if they start Danny there. Like I said, I feel like Johan probably earned the right to start that game, given his performance over the last month or so. So
48th minute here. Austin wins a throw on the left, so that's Lima's side last night. That throw does get to Julio, and he deflects it down with his head right to the feet of Leo, but he was not able to get a touch, and LAFC clears and goes the other way. 51st minute. Frustration really starting to set in, especially for Emiliano Rigoni, who gets a yellow card. And he had that frustration towards John Freeman had been building. Emmy had a couple times where he thought he should have gotten calls, didn't get them. A couple other ones he thought were soft that were called against him. And here Hollingshead's booting the ball out of LAFC's end, and Emmy comes in late and just stomps right on his foot. Deserved yellow card.
Yeah, he got him good too. Yeah, he got him pretty good.
54th minute here, LAFC working around the back, and then just in an instant, man, they are in behind as Bogusz outworks Leo to get to the ball that was played in by Oliveira, and that cross from Bogusz is absolutely whiffed by Julio, and then Ordaz can't quite get to it, but Bouanga, of course, is coming in at the back post, and he taps it in for the brace and LAFC's third goal, and the route is on.
Yep. Like you said, their first shot, goal, get a PK right before the end of half, and game over. And then this, like you said, is just the route has begun.
Yeah, it's the icing on top.
He's a good fucking player, man. What are you going to say? I mean, he's a good fucking player.
Maybe an understatement.
Yeah.
59th minute here. Driussi fires a frustrated shot from 25 yards out. But unlike, those of Johan Valencia, this one is knuckling on target right towards Craig Poe, he has to punch it out for a corner. That was not dissimilar to the goal we saw Seba take and make against Red Bulls at home last year. Just kind of like, all right, I got to try to do this myself. Yeah. That one just couldn't find the net. That corner, the ensuing corner, rather, by Rigoni almost finds Leo's head, but it's headed out for another corner. And then his second corner almost falls to Seba, but Driussi can't quite get to it. And Crepeau ultimately gathers it in once the dust settles. It was just, again, it's been a season of almosts and if-thens and what-ifs. Yep. There wasn't enough almost or what-ifs last night to even come close to competing in this game.
No, like you said, last pod, we had some the 50-50 balls went to us in that. Now, why am I forgetting who we played? We beat 3-0. It was fucking
DC.
Yes. Sorry.
Yeah. No longer the fighting runes.
Yeah, correct. So we had some balls go our way in that game. In this game, you need all those balls to land on your foot and get some good luck, some good fortune to try to hang with this team. And, if you're banking on that to try to beat LAFC at this point in the season, you probably couldn't figure out where you are on the table.
Right. 61st minute here. Another double change. Owen and Memo coming in, swapping out on the wings there with Ethan and Emmy. And also, just for shits and giggles, Steve Cherundolo calls Carlos Vela's number, and he comes on for Ordaz. So it's like, I don't know, man. Little victory cigar there in the 61st minute for LAFC. 67th here. Owen gets fouled about 5 yards outside that left corner of the box. And Memo takes this free kick, and he puts it on net, on target, but it's right at Crepeau, and there wasn't nearly enough power to beat any professional keeper on that shot. No. And LAFC goes the other way, slicing right through the Austin defense, or lack thereof. A long ball here from right to left. Danny is under it, and he takes a poor touch that looked like he was trying to redirect it back to Stuver, but the handle just wasn't there, and it just kind of dribbles right into the path of Bouanga, who was putting pressure on Danny in that moment, but Danny, I think, has got to be better there to keep that one out. And Stuver, to his credit, man, Bouanga's one on Stuver from 7-8 yards out, and Stuver makes a save, but the rebound is right there, and Oliveira is trailing, and he taps it home for the fourth goal. And man, at that point, it's in the last 2 3/4 matches against LAFC. The aggregate score was LAFC 10, Austin 0. And if you even go back, because we were up 4-0 on them in Austin last year in August, they scored the last one there. They had scored 11 straight goals on us. It's two different classes of teams.
Yep, and they took it personally when we beat them 4-1 at our place, and they have not let off the gas whenever they play us.
70th minute here. Seba, again, trying to work some heroics just to get Austin on the board. Receives a pass, pops it up and over Chiellini. Really nice touch there. Showing, Seba showing his talent. Takes a shot from the edge of the area, but Murillo deflected that shot out for a corner, and nothing comes of that corner. Again, 75th minute, you see a double change here. Krastev and Stipe Buke on for Bogusz and Oliveira. So bringing on just, again, that amazingly talented depth that they have. Both of these young guys. I think both of those guys are U22s, if I'm not mistaken. But look, here, off that restart from those two LAFC subs, Danny Lawson across from the left side, and Leo, blind header backwards, heads it on frame and past Crepeau. And I had some confetti in my pocket that we had to get rid of, so I appreciate Leo for the goal. We can throw that and not have to take it home till next year. So 4-1, didn't get shut out.
Hey, we could have used that a long time ago.
Oh, and fuck, man, I guess I don't feel bad, but I just wish for Leo that his first goal for the team, and at Q2 especially, could be in a moment where he could have some semblance of a smile or just being happy, and that we could actually celebrate that moment for him. Because as he should, he just runs straight back, no emotion. I get it. But yeah, just too little too late.
Yeah, it would have been nice to be able to celebrate it, but hopefully it's not the last one. It's been a long season for him, a rough one, getting dinged up, in and out of the lineup. The joy had kind of been sucked out of this team for a while, and it's kind of on display here as well. And I can't blame him. Can't celebrate a goal when you're down 4-0 and you're about to just get eliminated from the playoffs. It's like celebrating a sack when you're down 35. Stupid. So I'm glad he's on the board. The account is open.
Same. The rest of the way, man, is a lot of just LAFC controlling the pace, the tempo, the entire game to close this one out. 90th minute, they bring another young guy, Duenas, in for Ilie. And then in the first minute of stoppage time, you get a yellow card on Giassi Zardes here for taking out Chiellini. And the two teams come together, and Chiellini just does his best Chiellini and is like, he's down and he can't move. And then all of a sudden he's standing up and complaining to the official. Then he falls over again. He can't move. And man, like it was absolutely a deserved yellow there. But man, come on. At that point, like Chiellini, are we really we're really playing that up? We got 2 minutes left, man. Come on, let's just get out of here.
I appreciate you, Giassi. Way to get him.
And then in the 4th minute of stoppage time, right, maybe the final kick of the match, I think, last night, Owen cutting through the midfield. He finds Memo, and Memo lofts across to the back post on the right side there. John Gallagher's there. He heads it towards Zardes, who's darting towards the net, and Chiellini's marking him. Chiellini tries to head it away, but he heads it into the back of his own net for an own goal. So 4-2, the final score here. But like we said earlier, and like everybody knows who watched last night, final scoreline not indicative of how much of a blowout this was. One-sided all the way.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess we could look to, we were up 4-0 on them. They get the goal, ran off 11 straight. We were down 4-0.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Just that too. So if you don't count the first 4 goals of that game, 2-0 aggregate Austin FC.
Or just setting ourselves up for a 2024 sweep against them once again.
Yes. Look, a pretty fitting way for this, season to come to an end, and it's not over yet, but it's over. So it was a rough game from a rough season, and the better team won. And LAFC is a better team than us. They're clearly a better team than us. So is what it is.
54%. What's that?
We do got news though.
We'll get to that. I'll close this one out. 54% Austin possession, 17 shots to 10 in favor of LA, 7 shots to 3 in favor of LA, and 6 corners to 2 in favor of Austin. No big chances created last night. again, like we said earlier, 4 of the 10 Austin shots were inside the box. And on FOTMob's XG model, 0.45 for Austin to 2.97 for LAFC. And that sounds about right to me.
Yeah. One thing I do want to talk about with this game is that I was really dissatisfied, particularly on the rewatch, with our set piece plays.
Okay.
Like you said, 6 corners that are close, but didn't yield anything. I thought the Memo shot was a sellout shot. I don't think he was trying to score there. I thought he was trying to not embarrass himself on that kick. You know what I mean? Because it's light. Yeah. He just didn't want to come. And I don't like. We have a shot.
Well, it definitely wasn't a rip.
It was a lofted. It was not a good shot. Like, we have an opportunity here in a situation where we're outside the box. To me, you got to find a way to get the ball to your best player. Like, even if it's just a short pass to him where he comes running, or we're going to loop him in or something. Like, we had to try to generate goals in a way that just wasn't, here's our player, here's your player, they're superior. Can we score on you? So I just felt like we didn't give ourselves, not that we had a good chance anyway, we just didn't give ourselves a good enough chance in some of these situations where we could have generated something. Like you said, no big chances. Like, you get 6 corners, you get a fucking shot right outside the box. You gotta get something to show for it.
Yeah.
So I was just pretty upset with that's just one thing that stuck out to me from last night. And better team won.
I think some of that is we just have to credit who we were playing, or at least keep in mind who we were playing. Not saying that that ever slipped your mind or anybody else's, but like, where else do we see a backline like that? Especially one that can swap out Aaron Long for Murillo. I mean, obviously Philly is up there. Nashville with Zimmerman and Lovitz and Shaq Moore, but our back line just is not that, man. It's not that.
No, it's not. And, that's why I feel like, you might have to run a fake punt. You know what I mean? Like, one of these plays got to be something creative. You got to run the old Statue of Liberty, something to try to generate something here. So that's why, I mean, like, and of course, it is kind of humorous because it's like, you got to run a trick play here or something, but you got to get something. You have to get an opportunity here. Like, there's just too many chances. We're not good enough. So, yeah. I mean, I'll give them all the credit in the world. They're fucking great.
Yeah. Well, obviously, we have now a lot of time. Even we have, 2 weeks with this international break before we play a game. That the only thing that we're playing for in that game is players playing for pride and for their next contract, and maybe to play spoiler for San Jose based on how some of those results went last night. And then, of course, the offseason to come. A couple things from last night's press conference and grabbing these quotes from our buddy Phil West. Josh, obviously looking forward now in the questions, more forward than just what's the next game, because of the team being eliminated from playoff contention. Josh was, of course, asked about, what do you think about your status going forward? What are your thoughts as we head into this offseason? And Josh said, I love this club. I love working for Anthony Precourt and many of the staff that have been a part of this organization since we built it. It's a project. We know it's going to be a project. We knew it was going to be a project. There have been unbelievable accomplishments in our short existence as an expansion team. There are ebbs and flows that we've seen of being a newcomer. And obviously now we're in our 3rd season. I love my players. I love what I do for a living. I love our staff. And I'm extremely proud of what we've built. And I fully expect to continue to be able to build that. But we work and understand what the risks and rewards are of this business. But, I'm the head coach here, and I expect to be in the future. So that was one thing last night. And, of course, we, and I think probably the majority of people leaving Q2 Stadium last night, were having some sort of conversation, debate about Josh Wolf's fate. And I know last night, as we've said before, like we expected him to get fired if we lost to Colorado. And that came and went. And then last night, it felt like with the team eliminated, I think I was walking out with our buddy RB, and I was saying, man, I think if he's not fired in the next 24 hours, then when do you do it? Then I don't think it's coming. So I mean, was that was basically your feeling as well?
I mean, if it didn't happen after Colorado, you can't do it losing at LAFC. Like, that just doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Sure, yeah. I get what you're saying there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and again, obviously he talked about, Dennis Bouanga, and he talked about other things, but I think that was certainly, now talking about the news that came out today, that was the most pertinent quote, I think, coming out of last night. So today, right about 5:15 p.m. Central Time on Sunday, the club posted a press release with multiple pieces of news here. So let's just go through them now. A series of changes within the first team scouting and recruitment and player personnel departments. An entirely new scouting and recruitment department consisting of 5 new full-time scouts at the first team level who are stationed throughout Europe and South America have been added to Austin FC's sporting department with immediate effect. Austin FC has also announced that Manuel Junco, who served as chief scout since 2020, has left the club. In addition, Sean Rubio, who most recently served as senior vice president of player personnel, has accepted a move to join another unnamed MLS club. And then Rodolfo Borrell with this quote: "Identifying global and national talent is an essential ingredient to achieving long-term success within MLS, as it is anywhere else, and it is important for Austin FC to view player signings through an entirely new lens, as we must improve our rate of success on roster construction. I believe that Josh and his staff deserve increased levels of support from our scouting network, and we intend to deliver that support immediately. Josh is a very good young head coach, and although results this year are disappointing, we are fortunate to have a coach with his level of commitment and knowledge. I am confident he is the right leader for this team." So let's go, I guess, piece by piece there. And I want to start with the two fellows who are leaving the club. Sean Rubio first. Unnamed MLS club, interleague move here, or intra-league move, rather. I would hope that is a relative promotion for him, because from my point of view, and again, we're not in the front office, and certainly not the most well-versed person in the space on all of the inner workings of this front office, but we know that we've been told that he had a big hand in building out that Austin FC 2 roster. Obviously, he's been a big part of the ebbs and flows that we've had over these first 3 years. And he came to Austin with multiple MLS teams already on his resume. Sean is a guy who's been around, right? And so I hope that this move is at least a lateral one for him, and hopefully, again, a promotion, maybe being a sporting director for a team.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not really too concerned about if it's a promotion for him or not.
I mean, I wish the guy well, because
I wish him well too. Of course.
Yeah.
The landscape is changing quite fast in the front office there.
Yeah, and Manuel Junco, who I'm sure is a fine guy.
Yeah.
Let's bring in this new team. I mean, this to me is by far the most exciting part of today. And
I mean, you couldn't see me smiling while you were reading it.
Yeah, dude.
We got dudes in South America, Europe.
I mean,
Russia.
We had them already, but this now is Rodolfo Borrell's hand-picked first-team scouting department.
Oh, yeah. And
I'm incredibly excited for this.
I am amped to see what we bring in, because this is what we've been saying. Like, this is what people have been saying who've been paying close attention to this club and what it meant to bring Rodo here. Mm-hmm. The network that he has is going to be incredible for this club. And, he's putting his scouting guys, dudes that he trusts their judgment on how to evaluate players, knows the process that Rodo probably wants for evaluation. And we're going from there. And, he says later in that release there that the front office is going to provide more support for Josh. And that's awesome. That's what you want. Like that, he has come out and he's been doing his job quietly in the background. He had the first little splash where he said, what he said about Josh and coming here and leaving Man City and all that. And now he has this here definitive. We have a plan. We have a route. So I'm very excited about that for sure.
Yeah, and again, I guess that third part, right, where he confirms that Josh Wolf will be the coach here next year. Obviously, we discussed before, and we were saying it to each other on the way out last night, that while we didn't think, based on Rodo's comments and the fact that they didn't can him after the Colorado loss, that we thought he would be here, that it's, again, totally fair based on results, because results freaking matter.
Yeah, of course.
That if he lost his job, yeah, fair. But to our buddy Kevin Morris's point that he tweeted out last week after the Colorado match, he was like, if you don't fire this guy now, Rodo, then you are pushing all your chips in on, man, Claudio Reyna really screwed you with this roster build and the state of the club. So that does appear to be what Rodolfo Borrell thinks about our situation as a team.
Yeah, and I mean, look, it would just be it's a disservice to what he has done his entire career to not understand that he's going to want a full season with Josh and his guys. Like we said, we go back to the original presser. One of the main reasons why he came was for Josh. So even though, of course, these results have been bad, we have one victory since the Diego trade. But we still had direction at the time, and that's why the deal was done. And they're going to see it through, and I think it's awesome. I mean, I still would have trusted Rodo to bring somebody in to replace Josh,
of course,
because that's where I am aligned. This guy has the keys to the whole city. Let him do his thing. So for him to come out in support of Josh through this hellacious season for him, I thought it just shows a lot. I mean, like, if you like it or you don't like it, that's one thing. But like, it shows unity in the club. It shows support. There's nobody who wants to go to their job and wants to think that their boss is trying to get rid of them all the time.
Right.
Yeah, it's hard. It's a stressful enough job. So I'm very satisfied with it. The fact that they did it before this break even comes up, I thought was great, because we can just move on from it now. It's off the table. He's not losing his job. He's here next year. Now, how do we get people in this organization who are going to help us be better?
Yeah. Well, it'd be interesting to see just how long that leash is, because if we come out laying an egg next year, I think, again, of course, the I was about to say the Wolves will be right back at his doorstep, but people will be on his ass. And again, I think for good reason, based on the way they closed out this season. But so, yeah, like, to your point, I agree. Seeing that alignment in the direction that we're going within the front office, is what you need. It's what you like to see, whether or not you think the guys in those positions are the ones that you want or not. We're going to trust Rodolfo Borrell on that.
Of course.
Last part of this, Rodo will have a press conference at the Performance Center on Tuesday at 10 a.m. Central. So certainly going to be looking out for all the coverage on that. And it'll be interesting to see what he has to say, because that our, the Austin FC media are going to bring the heat.
Oh, yeah. They're going to bring the heat to Rodolfo Borrell.
Well, it was I don't know if contentious is the right word, but when he came out after the trade and did his press conference, that was a lengthy press conference, multilingual, so, we'll see what comes from it. And I look forward to hearing what he has to say.
I agree. I think he's been frank. I think he's been upfront, honest about what's going on with the team, what he sees for this club going forward. So I think any sort of heat or pressure that gets applied to Rodo, he can just, deke out of that.
He doesn't give a shit about that.
No,
well, it will be highly entertaining to watch the numerous fans who will no doubt come out and question that, like they know better than Rodolfo Borrell.
I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, you don't. Let's period.
Yeah. Well, I'm with you. So, big news here on Sunday. And again, at least how we read this is a huge positive. Rodo wasting no time and taking the steps to create that new direction and set that path forward. So hopefully as long as there's 9 teams that get into the playoff / wild card, hopefully this club is not missing those ever again.
Yeah, who knows if they'll keep the messy playoff extension rule in place. But yeah, not getting in the top 9, not good.
Yeah, not good at all. All right, so what we've got, we should get this lineup here for FC2 shortly. Let's close it out with the nonsense, and all of the bets have not finalized yet, because especially, you know, we've got money down on FC2 tonight here, who came in at plus 190 to start, which is interesting. That Tacoma plus 160. So Vegas looking at this matchup as a relatively even affair here tonight in terms of who's got the leg up. Will be interesting to see what those lineups look like when they come out. But really quickly, let's get this out of the way, because as we were watching Denny Bouanga dismantle Austin FC last night, he was also dismantling our hopes in the Verde Best Ball League. Because check this out, E. New record, Moon Tower Soccer. Previous record for a weekly high this season was 68 best ball points. Moon Tower Soccer this week, 80 best ball points in the penultimate scoring period. 20 from Denny Bouanga, 14 from Carlos Gil, 15 from Alvaro Barrial, 11 from Ache Ache, 12 from Bongi. I mean, both sitting here shaking our heads. That's about all we can say. There's still one more week, right? And we didn't do too bad ourselves, because we had a previous high of 68, and we put up 67 behind Timu Puki's 4 goals. Another 10 from Jesus Ferreira, 12 from Emmanuel Reynoso, 9 from Kai Wagner, but 67. Now you look at those full standings, man, that we are now down 20 points with 1 scoring period remaining. So it's going to come down to decision day, but we've got our work cut out for us now.
I saw Landon last night.
Oh, yeah? Where at?
Yeah, chopped it up with him a little bit. I think it was during halftime. He was walking right behind the 123 there, and I saw him, had a little chat, and nice. It's good to see him. I think that's one of the most disappointing things. That's we're going to miss all of our homies at the Q. I got to hang with RB for a little bit. Lil RB, I always love seeing that crew, that little duo. So that was great. Molly, Aaron, the whole gang there. Mm-hmm. Pirates, Big Fudge. I'm missing people. I know. I'm sorry, but it'll be good to get back. Now I'm thinking about it already.
I know, right?
It's gonna be good.
It's what, November, December? It's only like 4 months away. 4.5 months till we're back at the Q. Right. But okay, the best ball update not done here. Because again, we had that movement at the bottom of the standings 2 periods ago, and now we are Austin TV behind 11 from Walker Zimmerman, 10 from Thiago Almada, put up 39 points. And a down week for Texas Ring of Fire. They get Messi back, but he only puts up 1, and they only put up 33. So We Are Austin TV is back into 3rd place in the standings. Ooh. They lead Texas Ring of Fire by a single point through 33 scoring weeks this season. I don't know, man, where we've got a battle for 1st and 2nd and a battle to stay out of the wooden spoon 4th place position. Mm-hmm. I don't think this league could have gone much better, man. It's been a blast.
I agree. This is fantastic. It's going to come down to the last match day here, and it's been great. I'm looking forward to the expansion next year.
Yeah. Going to have a 6-team league next year, and maybe working on a listener league. We'll see what we can do. Obviously, that'll come about 4.5 months from now, so everybody can stay tuned to the North End podcast to maybe get in to the listener league if we're so inclined.
We can be bought. We both have prices. They're not very high.
All right. Well, let's go ahead. Let's go watch this Western Conference semifinal match between Austin FC 2 and the Tacoma Defiance. So that's going to be, 3.5 hours for us, about 5 seconds for you all. We're going to go watch this match. We'll come back and get another playoff edition of Last Business Day started. See you on the other side. It's been a minute since the Eastradamus came through for us, but I know you got to be feeling good after nailing that 1-0 prediction. Certainly, I don't think we thought it would go exactly how this game went. That was the game script here was pretty wild, but feels good to advance. Austin FC 2 headed to the Western Conference Final.
Hell yeah. What a game. That was wild. Yeah, the 1-0 prediction, great. Eastradamus now 3 for 112. So whatever. We'll take it any way we can get it. Wild match. That's gonna stick with me for a little bit. That was crazy. It was fun.
Yeah. I mean, through these first 2 playoff matches, a good run so far, and at least one more game to play. 2 wins away from the title. A couple notes on the game here, just going through it. Not a ton going on in the first 15 minutes of this one. Couple half chances for Tacoma here and there, particularly one passage of play. They just weren't able to get a shot on target. Austin defending well. 25th minute here, David Rodriguez gets free down the right side of the box, and he fires a shot that goes right at the keeper, and that was really the first real chance for Austin. And I think the first shot on target for either team. 3 minutes later, he gets free again down the right, but this time, and they had Abdoulaye Sissoko over there marking him for the majority of the time that Sissoko was on the field tonight. Funneled him well tonight, and then David's cross is gobbled up by the keeper. 29th minute, Veli gets a yellow card, pulling down a Tacoma player with 2 hands. I think it was number 34, Frank Daruma, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, the first half hour, kind of the teams feeling each other out, but Austin started to gain momentum, right around the 25-minute mark.
Yeah, 2 good teams going at it. Playoff game, definitely don't want to make a big mistake and give the other team a goal off some sort of counter or anything. So we're trying to feel it out. David, you matched up with probably the best defender in next pro.
He was on best 11. He was next to Joe in the next pro best 11.
Yeah, so whatever list it's on for the defense, he's a short one on there for Sissoko, that is. So that's a tough matchup, but I thought we played solid right from the rip. It wasn't anything extraordinary, spectacular, but
confident.
Just solid. Yes, and this team has definitely we have flipped a switch. We're talking shit now.
Yeah,
I think we really the SKC thing really ticked us off, because this energy and this resiliency and just kind of aggressiveness had been lacking for the last month of this season with this club. So it's nice to see these boys turn it on and be a little feisty, because that team's a physical team.
Oh yeah, at the right time. We're going to see another physical team next week. 36th minute here, Sheikh Toure gets beat down that right side, and Tacoma gets probably the best chance that either team had in the first half here. I think it was Rodriguez, their leading goal scorer, 17 goals, 4 assists, gets down that end line, and he cuts one back towards the middle of the penalty area and gets sent over the bar. But maybe Tacoma's best chance of the whole match, at least to the last couple minutes there, where things got a little dicey. No changes at the half, and then kind of again another quiet start to the half. 58th minute, David almost gets in behind on the keeper, but Sissoko makes what was probably a goal-saving tackle here.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of the matchup to watch all night.
Yeah, just a really good player. You're going to be seeing him in MLS at some point.
Have a couple times.
Yeah, you already have, but much more often. Just a good matchup all around. Good players on the pitch, up and down. We were having a little discussion there while we're watching the game, wondering where Val was, and he steps up a little later, has a big game coming up. I thought Bobo was great. Sheik.
Yeah. I think it's Shake.
Okay.
I don't know. You said last week that we were going to pronounce that 10 different ways wrong now. And Josh is in our head with that.
I thought he was spectacular on the night. A lot of really nice defensive efforts paired along with some explosive bursts to get past guys and kind of get us going and initiated. Thought he was played really well.
Literally that play I think we talked about to close out the first half there was the only time I could point to where Toure was not solid at worst on the night. I agree. He was really good. 60th minute here. Alonso takes down Daroma at number 34, who was he was a little guy, man.
He was feisty.
Foul was rightfully called here, But then after the whistle, man, he swings and he catches Alonso right in the nuts. And he goes down. And, like, I know there's no VAR in Next Pro, but, like, I thought it was clear that there was a reaction by 34.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't see why that wasn't. It didn't even look like he got a talking to by the official. And it's like, come on, man. You gotta be able to see that. You got 4 officials out there. Somebody gets hit below the belt. If you can see it on the broadcast, one of y'all's got to see it at the pitch.
I also missed it.
I did. I texted you. You're like, huh?
Yeah.
Game's really opening up here, like in the middle of the second half, and then starting to get chippy. And then in the 66th, it comes to a head. Huge scrum. And, like, to be honest, I don't really have, like, the play-by-play for what went on here. I know they're, like...
It's Pignot.
Was it?
It's Pignot. Okay. And he's trying to shield the ball after a deflection off of Tacoma so that it will go out for Austin corner.
Yeah.
He's using his body, kind of shielding him. I don't know what the Tacoma player was who was guarding him, but he kind of...
Hawkins, 39?
Maybe. I can't. Yeah. I don't remember. But he kind of, like, doesn't – he kind of puts his hands on him and, like, kind of – but Pignot's already falling down.
Sure.
And then Tacoma player goes and is, like, farther along into our substitution players. And one of our guys, I believe it was Pinkham, or maybe AOC, had his hands
It was
on.
AOC or Santillan or so. You couldn't really see over there, and the guys don't have their numbers on.
Yeah. And he was just kind of holding – like, he wasn't, like, pushing him. He was just like, hey, like, you don't have any more room to, like, walk backwards. And then homeboy turned around and just pushed him with 2 hands.
Into the boards there.
Yeah, and that's when it all kind of – the fracas broke out.
Yeah, both teams kind of come together after that shove. Mm-hmm. A couple people end up on the ground. And ultimately, 2 players are thrown out. Chris Pinkham for his actions on the sideline there, and then Sissoko for running up and putting his hands all over Chris Pinkham and kind of escalating the situation. And look, man, I don't know. Again, especially without review, that is one of the toughest things I think these officials have to do is a situation, a mass confrontation like that, trying to sort it out correctly and fairly. And fair or not, this works out in Austin's favor because Pinkham gets sent off. So obviously I assume he misses the next game, right? He's going to miss the Western Conference Finals. So, but then Sissoko gets sent off. And so Austin up a man and probably their best player, him or Rodriguez, depending on which side of the field you're talking about. But pivotal moment in the match.
I mean, I get why Sissoko's going over there. He's their defender. He's their enforcer. He's their big guy. I get it. It was a poor decision, and I think he was rightfully thrown out. I thought the ref did a pretty solid job with that, given the lack of resources to try to sort through that whole mess. I think they should have awarded yellow to the initial Tacoma player who pushed AOC, and I don't think they did. But I mean, if you're Sissoko, man, and like we've said it about Danny, you can't put your team in that type of situation. It just is what it is. And I mean, ultimately, he probably costs them the game right here, and it was just unnecessary for him to go over there and try to escalate that. There was nothing coming out of it.
Yeah. And we'll take it. And the first,
absolutely.
The first 10 minutes. So there's, I don't know, 20 minutes left of the 90. For Austin to be up a man here, first 10, just kind of settling in, still obviously controlling possession, but just continuing to cause Tacoma to be more and more compact. And then you start getting there's some cracks start to show. 82nd, David puts in a cross that skips past Sebastian Pignot, who looked like he was going to try to trap it and turn and put a shot on net, but it kind of gets past him, past everybody except Val Noel, who bangs it home just moments after not only I had said to you, Val has been, we haven't seen him this game, haven't heard his name. And then right after that, he sailed what could have been the opening goal, but gets another chance and doesn't miss the second time and up 1-0.
Yep. And then we start chirping. I'm glad that he got that second chance because I know he wanted that first one back. It was a great build-up, great play, fantastic trap by him, awesome ball control, and just wasn't able to put it in the back of the net. So to see him get on the board here after having that moment and a particularly rough game that he had been almost like completely taken out of was really great, and just a testament to the fact that this team has continued to be resilient. And then we start running our mouths a little bit, and it was almost a little too early.
Yeah. I mean, a wild finish to this one, even after the occurrence there with the scrum on the inline. Noel comes out right after the goal. AOC comes on, and interesting, got some cheers there because obviously he and both him and Captain Joe, both former Tacoma Defiance players. 87th minute here, Rodriguez plays a great ball to Pino in behind, and the keeper Castro was off his line a little bit, and Pino puts it right into his breadbasket. And I think the announcer, well, I know you and I weren't super high on either announcer tonight, but I think they were spot on there when they said Sebas could have taken one or two more touches and probably just tapped it around the keeper there.
Definitely not
still on the front foot.
Yep, great ball by David. Not Sebas' best effort by any means, and absolutely he really could have just taken that wide and walked it in. Yeah.
Well, speaking of walking it in, we'll get to another occurrence here in a minute. 89th, Tacoma, to their credit, not quitting and creating maybe the best chances they've seen all game, down a man and just scrambling. 89th here, almost get a cheap one off a throw. Ovalle, their captain, gets, has some dead ball movement, gets a nice bounce, and he gets free on the right into the box, and he puts it across the face of net, and Rodriguez is there by himself, and he stretches out and just cannot get a touch to tap it in the net, but nervy moment.
Yeah, and I mean, we're talking and texting, right? And you're like, we can't just sit back here. You can't just let them just prepare this onslaught where they're just going to be, putting balls into dangerous areas, and we did, and we got lucky here for sure.
Yeah. Now 7 minutes of stoppage here. 2nd minute of stoppage time. EJ comes in for Cristo Vela, and then 2 minutes later, off a corner kick for Tacoma, Castro, their keeper, was up in the box. So the goalie has been pulled, open net. Austin gets out on the run, and EJ's got the ball on a 2 against nobody break. Yeah. And the keeper is trailing this play, and as the keeper starts to come into play and catch up to EJ, he enters the box, and he's got a teammate. I don't remember who it was next to him. If it was AOC. It was David. So he takes a shot when he's got a teammate there for a dunk, and it goes wide. And just after last, it's been a tough two weeks, I think, for EJ. That
was very bad. Again, he probably could have just ran the ball in. If he just opened it up. He's keeping it so tight to his body there. It's like, bro, there's nobody back on defense. It's one of those plays in FIFA, right, where like you think you have a wide open goal, you're gonna finish it, and then you fucking just boof it. Yep. Oh, it was bad. It almost cost us too.
Yeah, because then in the last minute of stoppage here, Damian Las makes his first save of the game, pushing out a last-ditch attempt from the top of the box off of a corner, and this one out for a corner. And then on that second one, Damian grabs what was a headed attempt off that second and final corner. He boots it out. Final whistle sounds, and Austin FC 2 advances to the Western Conference Final. And looking at our opponent, it will be Colorado Rapids 2, San Jose, our buddy Verhoeven, right? Earthworm Jim, Marshall Mathers, red card, 2nd minute for a dog. So they fought. Colorado didn't score till the 84th. So not a dissimilar game script from what we saw tonight for our boys. But man, San Jose almost pushed him to extra time there, down a man the whole match.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's fitting that it's us and Colorado here. The two of the top 3 teams in the West, and the 2 main teams that had held those positions with Tacoma throughout the course of the season here. And, we've had some great matchups with them. I know that they're looking forward to it. The return of the Grill Master as well. So that should be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, looking at, Remy Cabral played. Darren Yappy played tonight for Rapids 2. He was the eventual goal scorer. And it looks like they made no subs So interesting there by Rapids too. But we'll certainly be previewing that match on Wednesday's episode. I imagine tomorrow we'll get the schedule. Certainly by Tuesday, they will have the date and time set for the Western Conference Final. And just looking over to the East, Charlotte, who was tied, I believe, with Colorado or just right below them in terms of the Shield standings for Next Pro, they get upset by Columbus Crew 2, and then the 2 seed Revolution 2 gets through. So Eastern Conference Final, Revs 2 and Crew 2. So, if we're able to get past Colorado for the first time this year, next weekend, that's who we will be seeing, one of those 2 teams, and it will be on the road. Both of those teams exceeded Austin FC 2's point total. Unfortunately, I was hoping, could you imagine hosting a final? And that we would have to host that at Q2, right?
Yeah, probably.
Have to.
Yeah, probably.
Well, not to be. Maybe next year. But let's let's enjoy this one, boys. Congratulations. And then back to work this week. Another tough test coming up.
Absolutely. Way to go, boys. Job's not finished.
All right, everybody. Appreciate you tuning in, sticking with us here on episode 97 of the North End Podcast. If you've got 5 extra seconds to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast, wherever you get your podcast, we would greatly appreciate it. And if you've got a buddy who likes Austin FC and likes podcasts, make sure they are listening to the North End Pod as well. And if you are watching on the YouTube channel, you can hit the subscribe button to help us grow the podcast. You can hit the notification bell to know when a live stream pops up or a new episode goes live. And of course, on this episode, hit that thumbs up, like the video, help us battle the YouTube algorithm overlords, atone for your sins, wash yourselves clean in the new scouting department of Austin FC. We will be back on Wednesday previewing Austin FC 2's Western Conference Final matchup against Rapids 2, recapping Rodolfo Borrell's press conference on Tuesday morning, and everything else that happens in between. Enjoy the beginning of your week. We will do the same, and we'll see you back here on Wednesday. Until then, he's E. I'm Zach. Vamos Austin FC, everybody. Goodbye.